Good morning, lovely people. How are you all today? I hope you're well. Here we are in 2019. So exciting. A whole nother year to play with in the garden. I can't wait to get stuck in. It's really that time of year when we have to be so patient in terms of whatever we're doing in terms of preparation on the soil or seed sowing. I will be doing in about a week or so, I'll sit down at home with all my seeds and my sketchbook to do a plan, and I'll do that with you guys at the same time so we can sort of plan together and you can see what I'm hoping to achieve with the garden this year with all the extra seeds I have from you lovely people. Thank you so much. I've got a feeling excuse me, I've got a feeling I'm going to be having way more seeds than I can possibly plant. So I know, for instance, on my site here there's a couple of people who are fairly new. There's a couple of people who are absolutely stony broke, so I should probably be sharing some of the seed around. I hope that's okay with you guys. I know you've sent the seed to me, but I don't want to hoard it. I'd rather sort of share it out with people who haven't got any. Also, what I might do, we've got a couple of community gardens in the area. One of them particularly lovely, and it got a little feature on Gardener's World. I couldn't think of the programme name then. Yeah, it had a little feature on Gardener's World. It's a garden that is specifically run for people with mental health problems. So I don't mean learning disability, I mean specifically mental health. So rather than, I don't know, a course of drugs, obviously sometimes drugs are necessary, but rather than just chucking drugs at these people, they get a course of garden therapy, let's say, which is fantastic. So I think that will be another really great place to offer some seeds to. I'd love to volunteer there, actually. I have filled in the volunteer application a number of times, but they have two types of volunteers there. They have mental health nurse specialists, which was never my specialisation. I was obviously paediatrics and immunology. But then they also have horticultural specialists or people with horticultural qualifications. So I don't qualify, but there we go. I can give them some seed, which would be great. So I'm so excited to get going, but at the same time, what I love about this time of year is really, listen to that, apart from listening to Rusty purr, it's so quiet. There really won't be anything much to do in the garden for the next 2 months at least. I mean, really, it'll be from now to the end of March. There won't be much going on at all except harvesting and just sort of staying on top of little tidying jobs here and there. So I'm going to take you out and show you the garden in a second so you can see exactly what it's looking like at this time of year. And then for the rest of this morning, I'm not going to stay long today. It's a beautiful bright day, and I just had to get down here. I've hardly been to the garden at all in the last 2 weeks with the whole Christmas and New Year hullabaloo. I did have one day between Christmas and New Year just to do a bit more harvesting. So today it's all about just making the most of the beautiful light, a bit of harvesting, but also what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a minute standing right on the end of the plot, just really looking, cementing the visual of it into my brain so that, like I say, in a few days' time when I'm sitting at home and planning this year, I can sort of conjure up that image. Also, I know there's quite a few of you who have just got your very first allotment. Yay, how exciting! I know there's another few of you who've decided to turn some of your own private back garden over to vegetable growing for the first time ever. So I'm sure you're all feeling super excited too. And you know, whether you've just literally got an allotment for the first time, or like me, you're going into your 7th year. I've actually had the plot for 10 years. It'll be my 10th anniversary this year. But for the first few years I shared it and it didn't really work out very well. The friendship stayed intact. Oh, I loved my friend. She's doing fine. She now lives in the countryside and does a massive garden. But yeah, so I think this is going to be my 7th year on my own. It's either the 6th or the 7th. It doesn't matter. Like I say, whether you've just got a first plot now or whether you're going into your 7th year like me, I think we're all the same, aren't we? We're so beside ourselves with excitement. So, I keep thinking about summer already. I keep imagining those gorgeous long days and that thing of if you're working and really busy during the day, you can still manage a couple of hours in the evening with those gorgeous light warm evenings. It seems hard to imagine at the moment, doesn't it? Oh, it's gonna happen though. Right, so let's go and have a quick look around the garden and then I'll come back to the shed because there's something else I want to remind you all about. I just thought I'd give you a quick update on Rusty as well, because it was, when was it? It was 2 weeks ago, exactly 2 weeks ago, when he came to the shed all upset and sorry for himself, and basically I don't know whether it was a fight or a fall or quite what, but he'd lost a tooth and he was very, very unhappy. But he's absolutely happy as Larry again now, aren't you, buddy? Aren't animals amazing in their ability to recover and just get on with things? So yeah, he's fine. Look at this beautiful light we have today. You wouldn't know it was just right at the beginning of January from the light, would you? It's gorgeous. You'd know it from the bareness of all the plots. Anyway, let's go and have a squiz. We'll start at the top, as we always do. But look at the length of the shadows. Look at that's the most shallow bit of board there, but look at its shadow. It's about 11:30 in the morning and already the shadows look like evening. So really very little change from the beginning of December, except for the fact that I've been scoffing things, so beds are getting emptier and emptier. What I did want to check today was down under here. This is a load of calendula and poached egg, but there are, let me just come around the other side of my sign, there are down there as well those tulip bulbs my mum gave to me, and I have seen in other gardens, I've seen tulips and things coming up. Ah yes, there. Oh, you're never going to see that, are you? You see there? First bulb coming up. I don't know whether that's one of the tulips or what else did I put in there? Hyacinth, I think. I'm not sure, but yeah, I've got a feeling all these little things are going to come up and then we're going to have an absolute hammering of snow again, like we did last year. Maybe not. I don't know if that's forecast or not. But yeah, otherwise, everything is just ticking over. The beds are gradually getting a little bit more empty as I'm scoffing things. So, for instance, that's the carrot bed here, and now it's that top end, that's all empty. I could probably do with finding some sort of mulch to put at that top end there, just to protect the soil over the winter. If nothing else, I'll try and find some cardboard, which will mean I'll also have to try and find some bricks to hold it all in place. Gorgeous Cavallo Nero, which just keeps coming and coming and coming. If you remember, I did that big harvest before Christmas, and then I mentioned to the girls next door who really love kale too, I was like, please come and help yourselves, which they have done, which is great. But that'll keep me going right through till March. Having the celeriacs away and a bit of celery. So yeah, these are, I mean, they're obviously they're tiddling little plants, but they're just a great bit of extra flavour in foods at this time of year. Yum, yum, yum. Obviously no change here with all my covered beds, although, look, someone's been digging. Fox probably. Never mind. I shan't worry about any of this. This is all going to stay exactly as it is until probably, oh gosh, it's probably going to be until at least April, because unless I'm direct sowing, I don't need to get at the soil. So the only thing that will go in the soil at the end of March, or sort of mid-March to April, will be potatoes and onions, and they're not going to be in this bed anyway. The broad beans are still doing their thing. They're obviously quite tiny at the moment, but they will put on a spurt of growth from about March onwards. And annoyingly, annoyed itself, I never did get round to plugging the gaps with a second sowing. But never mind, there's more than enough in there. You see, there's plenty in there to give me a nice harvest, hopefully by the end of May. This bed, like the previous one, again, absolutely nothing going to happen to it until probably April. Again, as little bits of it, look how long the shadows are, as little bits empty, so I'm emptying out the beetroot here. I need to think of something by way of a mulch to get on there, and if nothing else, then just a bit of cardboard. But yeah, there's bits and pieces still, a little bit of chard. Look at the colour of it in this winter sun. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that yellow one. I mean, isn't nature audacious? Actually, the pink one next to it, the pink and the yellow together, beautiful. And the way the light, well, it's so low at this time of year, the way it catches it, gorgeous. Oh, we're so lucky, aren't we? We're so lucky in the UK to have such mild weather, or at least certainly down in the south, to have such mild weather as to not only be able to get into our gardens and just enjoy being outside, but to actually have things still growing. I know there's dozens, hundreds of you who are well under snow now, and probably will be until May. Goodness me. Likewise, nothing's going to be happening here. I might, that's where the old calendula has gone over, I might start pulling that out, chopping it up, and then just laying it on the surface to act as a bit of mulch and B, a bit of compost to go in. Yeah, that's something I can get on with in the next couple of weeks or so. That'll be good. The garlic, oh, my shadow is so long. The garlic's looking great. Another thing I need to find mulch for. It's really hard at this time of year though to find anything to mulch with. The purple sprouting is looking magnificent. Oh, I can't wait to get my nashes around that. Scrumdiddly. I'm just going to bring you this way round because I want to give you a little update. Round the back of the cold frame we go, right into the sun. A little update on the Taunton Dean, which I became increasingly worried about because, do you remember I sprayed it with the grazers, which is that thing that's supposed to keep the slugs away? Well, even after spraying it, I lost another 2 leaves, for goodness sakes. And I kind of decided that it must have been slug attack. So all I did was I set a slug trap down behind, and that seems to have worked in that I've got new growth showing that hasn't been attacked. But I have to say, let me just show you, see if I can show you through the top. Oh, we're coming up and over. Oops, see that new growth there? It is a bit of a disappointment that having used the grazers, I still lost more leaves. So I don't know if any of you have used it in the past, what your experience was, but my experience is that it didn't blimmin' work. Oh, and there's my shadow right across things. But what is left, you can see, it looks pretty healthy. It looks like it'll survive. Everything in the herb bed has now pretty much gone over, apart from the last of the tansy. I mean, look at that, still in flower. It's so pretty. So I think what I'll do, that can be another little job. Honestly, it's like looking for jobs at this time of year, isn't it? Because there's nothing else going on. I'll just have out of here, there's all the calendula that went over, I'll have those out from around there. There was another little clump down here, so I'll just have a bit of a tidy up. See all the woody bits on the St John's wort, that can all come off. The little woody bits on the chamomile. So yeah, just a little bit of a tidy up, nothing much else. And of course, under there is my rhubarb, and I will have no idea how that's doing until the spring, but yeah, I just can't get over the light today. It's so beautiful, isn't it? And it's so peaceful. Honestly, I can't wait to sit down with all my seed packets and my piece of paper and start drawing and planning. Yay! The other thing, since we were all asked down for a tour, is look how bare the fence looks now. No achocha, no bunting. Oh, it's definitely the winter garden now, isn't it? Even more than at the beginning of December. I decided it needed a little bit more jollying, so I've added one more sign. I love this. I picked this sign up at the steam railway down at my grandparents' old place. Yes, so watch it with your smoke and steam. You don't want to annoy your neighbours. And of course all the bean poles are there, nice and tidy. So yeah, that is very definitely now a winter garden. Absolutely nothing doing apart from harvesting to eat and a couple of little tinker time jobs in the herb bed. So I'll turn my attention to other things for a while. So, all quiet on the garden front. It's funny, I was kind of making some notes yesterday about thinking about jobs I need to do or I'd like to do, and I was thinking, I've got a very short list this year. What's going on? Am I missing something? But of course, in previous years I've used the winter for doing other things on the plot, like digging out another bed, or this time last year, of course, I was doing the fence and getting that all finished off, a little fence and deck area. So I think realistically, for both my plot and my shed, I don't think there's anything else to build anymore. I think I'm kind of done with the saw and the drill in my garden. Never say never. I might think of something. Yeah, so I'm going to have to resist the temptation to do things for the sake of it. There are those couple of little jobs I was mentioning, say with the calendula or the herb bed, which I'll see to. But I think that's one of the hardest things for us gardeners, isn't it? Is to just say, stop, you don't need to do anything, just leave the garden alone. So I think basically for the next sort of 2 or 3 months or so, when I come to the garden, it will purely be to harvest, to enjoy the peace and quiet, to have cuddles with the cats, to have cups of tea with my neighbours, that sort of thing, and to resist the urge to stop mucking around with it. But there is one thing I need to do in the next couple of days, and I need to refill my bird feeders because they've been completely emptied over Christmas. And one of the reasons I'm mentioning it today is, excuse me, I need a glug of water. For those of us in the UK, it's that time of year again when we have the great garden, or the big garden, Birdwatch. Yay! So this year it's taking place on the 26th, 27th and 28th of January. And for anyone who's not familiar with it, it is a survey that's run by the RSPB, the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds. And anyone can take part, whether you have a garden, a balcony flat, a flat with a balcony, an allotment, whatever it is. But at some point over that weekend, you spend 1 hour with your outdoor space observing which different species of birds, numbers, etc, etc. Then we all send our info off to the RSPB. They collate it all, and then they work out that it basically helps them to keep track of numbers, and it gives us clues as to, you know, are we having habitat loss, is there food loss, that sort of thing. If numbers are declining, if numbers are increasing, why is that? And it just is a little kind of, it's a load of clues really as to how we can better look after our birds and make sure they thrive. So that's the 26th to the 28th of January. If you go online to the RSPB, you fill in a quick little form online, and then they will send you a pack which includes your little thing for charting whatever you've seen. It's a lovely, lovely thing to do, especially at this time of year when you might be spending less time outside. Give yourself an hour to sit in your shed with a nice hot mug of tea and just observe which birds are around. And even if you don't take part in it, please, please, please remember to top up your bird feeders, because around about now, the food for them is getting pretty scant, isn't it? So few berries left. I don't even think there are a lot of seed heads left around now. So yeah, top up your bird feeders. Right, well, on that note, such a lovely day. I don't want to go. I'm not going to go. I'm going to say cheerio to you all. I'm going to go and do a bit of harvesting, and I think I'm just going to sit outside for half an hour. I think half an hour will do because it's pretty chilly, but I'm going to park my chair in the sunshine where there's a tiny bit of warmth and just make the most of a beautiful day, beautiful peace and quiet. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, for now, it's cheerio to you all. I hope you've had a great little holiday festive period. But now it's back to the joy of the work of the garden, isn't it? But don't get too excited too soon. I will see you all again before too long, I hope. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and make the most of any bit of sunshine to get out there and lap it up. Take care, everyone.